only when we truly know and understand we have limited time on earth, and we have no way of knowing when our time is up, that we will begin to live each day to the fullest, as if it were the only one we have. "20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the ones you did do. So throw off the bow lines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover. The purpose of life, after all, is to live it, to taste experience to the utmost, to reach out eagerly and without fear for a newer and richer experience. To those who stay put, the world is but an imaginary place. But to the movers, the makers, and the shakers, the world is all around, an endless invitation. So the only question left to ask yourself is, where should you go now?"
Oh my goodness, I love that video. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be tuning in from, and feel free to say hello and where you're tuning in from down in the comments. But I'm going to start with a question for you today on the Yup Daily, and this is a show where we're going to give you just tons of value to help you in life and in business. Here's a question for you. Have you ever met people in your life and you just don't get them? Like, why do they say the things that they say? Why do they do the things that they do? Well, today is going to be about that. We're going to help you understand some different personality types. And I'm going to teach it in a way that's very intuitive for you. And here's why I'm so passionate about this. Have you ever done a personality test? Maybe you've done the Enneagram. I think there's like 9 different types of personalities, and you can be combinations of them. I mean, it's great for figuring out who you are. But do you really remember what all the other 8 might be? And then there's, I think, Myers-Briggs. There's 16 different personality types. I just did a Strength Finder test where there were 32 different personality styles. And it was wonderful for me to understand who I am and how I'm perceived by people. But here's the thing, if you are in business or even in life, we deal with other people, right? Wouldn't it be nice to know what their personality style is so that you could speak to them in their personality style? And it's really hard to remember 16 different types of personalities in order to know, okay, this is the combination that this person happens to be. So today, it's all about the birds. And I like to say the fortunes and the feathers. I'm going to teach you about 4 birds, and this is going to be really intuitive because when you understand these birds, you can apply them to different personalities, and it will make it much easier for you to be able to communicate with people because you will not only recognize what bird they are, but you'll know what bird you need to be for them to relate to you. Because here's the thing, a lot of times people in sales, they are selling to someone in the personality type that they are. And the other person isn't relating, just like that scenario. It's like, oh my gosh, there are people, I just don't get them. Well, if we are speaking to people in who we are as a bird personality, then if we're talking to another strong bird personality, there's just this disconnect. And I'm going to help you today in closing up that disconnect. So I'm going to teach you about 4 birds. I'm super excited to teach this. So 4 different birds. You're going to want to take some notes. You're going to want to watch this again. You may want to share this video with some others that can help them in their business or their life. So the first bird we're going to talk about is eagles. And I want you to think about, Winnie, the fortunes and the feathers. I want you to think about an eagle. The eagle flies alone, right? It is a majestic bird. It's flying high above the horizon. And it's like scoping out what's below. And when an eagle sees something at once, what does it do? It just swoops down for the kill, right? And an eagle will fight to the death before it lets go of that fish or before it lets go of that animal or that prey that it gets. So eagles are very dominant. And for those of you who have studied the disc profile, D-I-S-C. We're actually following that system. It's also colors, red, yellow, blue, and green. But here's why I associate it with birds. I'm digressing a little bit, but here's why I associate it with birds. You may know that you're red, or you're an eagle, or you're a D. You may know that about yourself, but can you recognize if you're talking to a green or an S or a yellow or an I? Can you recognize when you're speaking to those other letters or those colors? And this is why learning the birds is really, it becomes intuitive. So eagles, they're actually in the disc system, the D or the red personality. So they're flying alone, they're dominant, they're assertive. The next bird we're going to learn about are owls. And owls are, let's do this in the order. The next letter is going to be I, D, I. So the I's are the influencer, and they are peacocks. And the peacocks, think about a peacock when it puts its big plume out. And if you're going through a park or you're going through a zoo and the peacock's got its plume, there's always a crowd around it, right? Everybody loves to see the peacock in all its beauty. Have you ever listened to a peacock? And I don't want to say this in bad terms around people, but peacocks tend to be loud. Like when you hear a peacock in a zoo, you'll actually like go see what's going on because the peacocks are pretty loud. So peacock people they're the ones that when they walk into a room, it's like, I'm here. They may be colorfully dressed, and you'll recognize a peacock by that demeanor and who they are when they walk in the room. The S is green. So for those of you who follow the disc in the green, and I call them doves. They're steady. They love community. They love peace. They're the ones that, they never want to get into any sort of a confrontation. They're always helping everybody. And think about doves. You never see just one dove, right? If you look up at the telephone wires, you're going to see a whole row of doves up there. They love community. And then you've got the blue, or the C is the owl. And what do we think of when we think of an owl? We think of the wise old owl, right? They're conscientious. They love policies. They love procedures. They love to, study the rules. They want to research everything before they make any sort of a decision. So now that we know the eagles, the peacocks, the doves, and the owls, I'm going to go into what do each of these personalities like, and how do you speak to them? Like when you recognize them, it's really, sometimes people are a really dominant bird. And you'll see it, like they'll walk into a room and you're like, oh, here comes the peacock. Or you'll see the dove, and the dove is just kind of huddled with several people. And so you're going to be able to recognize the people who have strong personalities, but keep in mind, most of us may have a dominant personality, and then we may have a secondary personality. Some of us may have all four personalities. Sometimes one personality is stronger in our personal life, and another bird is stronger in our business life. But I'm going to give you some of the different traits for these different birds, because when you can recognize these traits, when you can be the chameleon, then you can relate better to individuals, and you can better build your team, because when you employ the strengths of each of these birds, you'll start to create a team that is so, so strong. We have somebody else popping up on the screen. There we go. All right. So the eagles. If you are talking to an eagle, just know that they are task-oriented, not people-oriented. They're driven by completing tasks, but they're also visionary. And then they have other people doing a lot of the smaller tasks. If you are talking to an eagle personality, you want to be fast, you want to be direct, and you want to be confident. You need to show respect for their point of views without just patronizing them. If you're going to share a testimonial with an eagle, make sure it's someone who is important, a celebrity or somebody who's in the news. And you could say, hey, do you know this person? This person endorses our product. And so eagles like to see testimonials from really authoritative figures. Anything in writing that you give to an eagle should be bullet points. They don't want to read long paragraphs of information. They just want the bullet points because they are getting stuff done and moving on. And then once an eagle has bought Once they say, I'm in, because eagles will make a quick decision. When an eagle says, I'm in, right up the deal. Like stop talking. Once an eagle says, I'm in, they're sold. They'll make a quick decision and they'll clean up. If they made a wrong decision, they'll clean it up later. So once an eagle says, yep, I want that, just go ahead and take the order, okay? And inside of, I'm going to go on to the other birds, but I just want to let you know that inside of our community, there is a training course called, I think it's The Fortunes and the Feathers. And in there, I actually talk about like, what do each of these birds fear? How do these birds come across to other people? And it's great training when you are really looking at these bird personalities. So the next one, let's talk about the peacock. So the peacock, they love to be seen and heard. So if you're talking to somebody and you say, you know, what is it that's motivating you to do this? It's like, I want to walk the stage and I want to get the awards. Okay, you may be talking to a peacock because they love that recognition. Peacocks are very creative and they're very colorful. They're always coming up with new ideas. They're the life of the party. They're usually outgoing. They're very people-oriented. Tasks like, okay, I got to get that done, but they really love to be around people. They can adapt to people really easily. And so if you're presenting to a peacock, you want to be friendly and outgoing. You want to allow them to talk a little bit about themselves, but the peacock is the one who's going to talk about if you went fishing and you caught a fish this big, the peacock caught a fish this big. And so sometimes you need to keep them focused a little bit because they love stories and they love, you know, going off onto different tangents. Don't start selling right away. You definitely want to create that rapport with a peacock. You always want to be asking them, what are they thinking? What are they feeling? They love to share that information. And again, you're going to need to gently keep them focused because a peacock just loves to share different things. And so sometimes you have to kind of guide them inside of a conversation. And then the next one is, and by the way, if you are relating to any one of these bird styles, type it in the comments. Say, oh yeah, that's me. Or if you happen to know someone else that is a really strong bird personality, feel free to type it in the comments. So doves love people. They love community. And they'll put other people above their own selves. Doves love doing things to help other people. Doves are compassionate. They are peacekeepers. They're super friendly and they're super giving. So when you are talking with a dove, you want to build more rapport with them. They need to know that they're feeling heard. They need to feel that connection. Typically, doves maybe have a slower way of talking. The peacock might be like out there, and the doves might be a little bit quieter in their speech patterns. With a dove, you want to stay away from a lot of facts and figures and statistics. That's not what a dove is all about. A dove is about how can they help someone else. And so if you're selling to a dove, really focus on how that dove can help others around them. I'll actually give you a story when I was doing coaching a situation with a dove. And so again, doves are motivated by connecting with community. They're very people-oriented individuals. And the last one is the owl. The owls tend to be like engineers or accountants. They love facts and figures and statistics and numbers. And so owls typically won't make a quick decision because they got to study the facts and the figures first. So they're systematic, they're detail-oriented, they're practical, they're logical, they're efficient. And so when you're presenting to an owl, you want to present your thoughts in a very organized way. And then you want to offer to supplement what you're saying with some proof, with some written proof, or with some documents that back up what you say. The owl may want to see the policies, the procedures. They may want to read more about it. They may want to study something. The owls typically may have a lot of questions that are going to need to be answered before they make a decision. They hate making a mistake. And so if you're working with an owl, that's kind of the personality that the owl is. So Owl and an Eagle via Facebook. Yeah, I love it. So I love that you guys are recognizing who you are. Yeah, dove and peacock, blend of dove and peacock. Perfect. Awesome. Love this. Do you see now how in relationships, if there are people that you just don't get, maybe you're a strong personality style and the other person is another strong personality and they may be opposites. And I'll give you an example. An eagle and a dove. Eagles are task-driven. They're very, forceful, dominant, get things done. And then you've got the dove who just wants to hold hands and sing kumbaya. And quite often, these two personalities will get together in relationships because they complement each other. The dove can support the eagle in their things, and the eagle is, they're just like complementing each other's strengths and weaknesses. And so owls and peacocks may be very different. So an owl is like very precise and everything's very careful, and the peacock's just like, I'm going to go try this, I'm going to do this. And so I'll give you a couple of examples. Let's say you have a high school friend, you're a dove, and your high school friend is an eagle. And I actually have this situation even in my own life. And you get together, you were best friends in high school, and you still get together every once in a while. So maybe you're going to go to a restaurant. Here's how the dove is communicating. The dove is typing something saying, oh my gosh, Tina, I can't wait to see you. And I was thinking maybe we should meet at 2 o'clock. There's a really pretty little diner that's down on 5th Street. And I'd love to just sit there and we can enjoy, the surroundings and the people. And I can't wait to see you and get all caught up on the kids and blah, 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 right? And here's the eagle. The eagle's like, 2 o'clock, I'll see you there. And the dove's like, she must be mad at me. I don't get it. All she said was 2 o'clock, I'll be there. She must be mad at me. And so know that when you're talking to these other personalities, it's not that the eagle's mad. It's just that that's how the eagle processes. The eagle probably didn't even read that whole thing. They just saw the 2 o'clock at the restaurant, and it's like, okay, that's all I need to confirm, and I'll see him there. All right. And so understanding these personality styles, I was at an event. I'll just share this one thing. I used to be a high ticket coach, and I would sit down with individuals at events, and usually there was a $20,000 mastermind offer that I was screening people for. And I'll never forget this. I had just learned about these personalities. And typically when I'm sitting down with people, if they're going to invest $20,000, it's because they want to hit the 6-figure income. They want to, make a mark for themselves, whatever it is that is motivating them for that $20,000 investment. But I was sitting across the table with this woman, and I said, where do you want to be? 6 to 12 months from now, what is it that you really want? Her eyes filled with tears. And she just leaned in and she goes, Debbie, this is not about money. This is not about money at all. I just want to help people. I have to help people. All right, so who am I talking to? I'm talking to a dove. When it comes time to present an offer for this program, it's not about she's going to earn her money back, or she's going to, make 6 figures a year. She's going to walk the stage and get an award. When I am talking to her about this program, it's like, I know that this program can give you the tools and the skills that you can now share with others. You can help others with all of the information and the tools and the training that you're going to get inside of this program. Do you see how the conversation is different? Had she been a peacock and said, I just want to walk the stage of my company, I'm going to be, I want to be recognized, I want to hit the highest rank, then that's what I would lead with. It's like, can you just imagine yourself walking the stage, being one of the fastest people to rank through your company? Or if I was talking to an eagle, they may say, I'm going to dominate. I'm going to create courses and I'm going to dominate this industry. I'm talking to an eagle, right? And then you've got the owls, and the owls want to see, well, what do I get with the program? Can you tell me all of the stuff specifically? What does each one of these things do? And I needed to give them some information so they could go back into the event and they could study and they can read all about it. So I hope this was helpful. I was on a hike one time, and I was hiking with a woman who was very obviously an owl, and her son was very obviously a peacock. And she was horrified by her son. He was adorable, by the way. He was helping everybody across the logs on the river, and he was walking up and high-fiving everybody and asking their names, and he was just totally working the crowd. Everybody fell in love with this little kid, but this reserved owl who's just very logical, to her, it's just like, he just embarrasses me so much. And I was so happy that I was able to share with her a little insight. It's like, let this little peacock do what he does. Let him put his feathers out and be who he is. And so hopefully this has been helpful. If you want to learn more about these birds, I've actually put a course inside of our community, in our Yep Clips community. I think it's under personal development. And we go deeper into each one of these. What do the birds fear? How do you come across to others if you happen to be one of these birds? And what do you do as a chameleon? How do you adapt? You don't have to change your personality, but you do want to adapt to other personalities. And here's a question I'll leave with this. Here's another question that comes up a lot. Can birds change? Yes, they absolutely can. I started out a peacock when I was really, really young, and I had a mother that had some brain damage, and she had a very childlike demeanor and was very embarrassing. And she was a peacock, and I would look at her and go, oh, I don't want to be that. I do not want to be that. I don't want people to look at me, and I don't want to embarrass myself in the way that my mother is embarrassing her and us. And so I actually stepped away from the peacock, and I adapted an owl persona. Like, I became an owl, very logical, very analytical. I went into a field that was very much for owls, accounting, but it wasn't me. And I was miserable inside of that. Sometimes you can figure out who a bird is by what profession they're in, and then go on to ask them, do you like what you do? And you can sometimes figure out what type of a personality. And I teach all of that in the class for our community. You have access to that. And one more thing that I want to share with you. Our community is all about helping to train and educate entrepreneurs. And we have a challenge that we do. It's a freedom challenge so that you can create the life that you want. And we do this challenge live, online, usually once or twice a month. But in the month of August, we are going on the road. So if you happen to be in Philadelphia or Tampa or the Phoenix area, myself and Ali and Chef and some of our other trainers and even our CEO, Jimmy Azell, will be there. And we're going to take all of that great value and we're going to share it with a live audience. And it's really cool because you'll get to network with other entrepreneurs. You'll get to meet other people. You'll get to see what our community is like and get some powerful training that can help you build a better social media presence, help you understand the process of sales, how to close a sale. So I hope that if you're in any one of these cities, to join us live, or if you know anyone in one of these cities, you definitely want to reach out and say, hey, you need to be here. This is an incredible group of trainers and you definitely don't want to miss this event. So if you'd like information on that, it is, well, actually just get back to the person who shared this video with you. They can give you all the information on the live event, the virtual events. So just reach out to the person who shared this with you, or you can message in the comments and we'll make sure that we get you access to the information. Until then, hopefully this information has been valuable for you. I challenge you, first of all, you shouldn't be watching a lot of TV at all, but I challenge you, like when you're watching TV, are you identifying some different personality styles? Anybody who watched Big Bang? There were some very strong personality styles inside of Big Bang. Sheldon, the owl, right? And then you've got Penny the peacock. And so just like practice at identifying these personalities, and just know that if you want to create rapport with them, and if you want to make a sale, if you want to share your product or your service with them, it's important that you build that rapport by adapting to who they are and speaking their language, not yours. With that, everyone have a wonderful day, and hopefully we'll see you on the events, live or virtual, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye. We've got somebody running the controls, I think, that is not seeing that we are done. So should I keep training? Ali. Hey, Ali. All right, so while we're still on, go ahead and feel free to comment and share your thoughts about today's training. Ali, we are ready to wrap it up here. We can do this with the live feed. And I want to